it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Sumnesh Joshi, Deputy Director General, Joint Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Communication, Government of India. Mr. Joshi has over 25 years of experience at various positions in the Government of India. At present, he is a Deputy Director General at Joint Secretary level in the Ministry of Communication at DOT Mumbai. He's working in the area of expanding 5G use cases, IoT, and ensuring the connectivity. I now invite Mr. Joshi to present. Over to you, Mr. Joshi.
Thank you very much for ICMCI India chapter for inviting me here to talk briefly with this August gathering. So I will just take you a brief presentation. This is something about India's digital transformation journey in the last 10 years. And we know in the world that you see the last 20 years, there's a tremendous change in the digital ecosystem where mobile connection have increased 15 times, internet 20 times, GDP has grown 3 times, population 1.3 times, 170 times the network devices on the internet, but the data what we have seen is grown 150,000 times. So the present juncture and the future is the data driven. So we all ready for that to create more and more innovation based on the data. So we are entering into the data driven era. And this is just a snapshot of overview of the digital landscape in the India, where we have more than 1 billion, around 1.2 billion telephone subscriber with 85% tele-density, around 890 million internet subscribers, and roughly about same 860 million broadband customers. And so these are all figures available for the public. So we have a very good communication infrastructure available in our country. And in October 2022, Honorable Prime Minister of India has launched 5G in our country. And I can say with the proud that India is one of the fastest rollout of the 5G in our country, and 4G, of course, everywhere it is available. And so then this is at a glance the digital ecosystem available in India in the form of the digital identity. That is, we have given all 1.4 billion resident in our country a digital identity, that is biometric based identity, which is a unique and a random number. We called it Aadhaar, and Aadhaar means a foundation. So we call it as a foundation ID. And based on this ID, new chapters have been opened in the digital ecosystem. Based on this ID, bank accounts were opened and financial inclusion took place in India. And everyone is having the bank account. And with that, the digital transaction, banking transaction is happening through QR code that is known to everyone now across the world, using the QR code in our country. A street vendor, a small vendor, grocery shop, everyone is taking the money through the digital mean or transferring the money through the digital mean. That is called Unified Payment Interface, that is UPI. And again, in the UPI, more than 13 billion financial transactions in a month we are doing. Another part in the digital ecosystem that requires in any country, that how to consume the services at the last mile. At the last mile, the services to be consumed by the smartphone, smart device, that is the mobile. And I can say proudly that now 99.2% mobiles are made in India. 10 years before, we were importing 98% mobile, but now we are consuming 99.2% mobile, which are made in India. And the best part is, this is affordable. One can buy this smart device or smartphone in $50 to $60. And this is how we are empowering the rural India and just opened a huge market for delivery of various services in our country. And another piece in the digital ecosystem is required, that maybe you are having a system in place, application is in place, devices are in place. But how to ensure that these devices are connected? So connectivity is an issue. So for that, we have done a lot of work, and we can say again with the proud that we have given 1.2 billion mobile connection, and most of them are on the 4G, that is high speed connectivity, and 900 million broadband, and all the villages are connected on the optical fiber under the BharatNet project, and 5G rollout is underway. And now what is happening in the ecosystem as on date, which Anuj has already mentioned, the scope that India is having, the service delivery application using the DPIs, that is digital public good infrastructure. Now that I already explained, that mobile as a last mile device we are using in the rural area. So now this coming to this Jam Trinity. So Jam Trinity means Jan Dhan, J for the Jan Dhan. So Jan Dhan means bank account. We call the bank account as a Jan Dhan. It's a public money, it's a bank account. And A for Aadhaar, that is a digital identity, and M for mobile. So you can see in our country we have 1 billion bank account, 1.4 billion Aadhaar identity, and 1.2 billion mobile connection. So using these three, the Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile, we are verifying the individual. We are transferring the benefit directly to the bank accounts, and many services are being consumed based on this Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile. So I will give the example that many welfare schemes in the central government or the state government in India are using Aadhaar as a financial address. And in this, total benefit transfers we have done in 23-24, it's estimated 72 billion transaction under 314 schemes, and estimated total saving using this digitally direct benefit transfer is around $34 billion. See what is happening. Aadhaar is a unique number, biometric based. So all the beneficiary database in our country have been seeded with this digital identity, the unique number. So we are able to remove all the fake and duplicates from the system. So if benefit is intended to the X, it is reaching to the X person and it is verified beneficiary. So based on the duplicate beneficiary, we have removed all the duplicate beneficiary. And another advantage that we are deriving is benefit is directly reaching into the bank account of the beneficiary. There is no middleman. It's a very smooth pipe that we have seen in the last 10 years, and people are appreciating it. And even the COVID time, right, we were able to withstand because we were able to transfer the benefit to all the persons in the COVID time. So now coming to the digital public good infrastructure. So digital identity Aadhaar, I can say the first digital public good infrastructure. That is, it is consumed by everyone, all public sector as well as the private sector, to deliver the services or transform their processes. And then, of course, the bank account has become another core, and UPI has become another digital public infrastructure. So third is the digital locker. So we have a system where all the citizen-related documents, whether it's a bona fide certificate, birth certificate, your credentials, mark sheets, land records, all records are available in the form of digital, in the digital locker, which one can access through the Aadhaar-based authentication or mobile-based authentication. So it's a unique thing. So instead of submitting the document in physical form, one can simply give the consent, and the organized the entities can use the digital locker to fetch the documents. And then another DPI is the Bhashini, because in our country there are many languages across country. So what we require that if some agreement is in the English, we have to translate into Hindi or local language, Tamil, Telugu, any other language. So the language translation can be done using, again, a digital public infrastructure. So that is available to everyone in the public domain and the private domain. It's not a proprietary sort of thing. So one can consume this DPI also for the language translation. Then open network digital commerce. Here, through this digital public infrastructure, all the buyers and sellers are getting onboarded. So it's everyone is getting connected, whether logistic partner or the supply chain partner or the buyer or the seller. So one can start selling the product through this ONDC platform. So a person who is sitting in a remote village in our country, maybe he's an artist. Suppose he wants to sell a painting. So he can or she can sell the painting through his own DC. And it's a very easy onboarding process. And there are companies which are onboarding those sellers on this platform, and they are able to make some money after selling their products. And it's a win-win situation. If they sell, money is coming in the system in the form of digital. So digital economy is again getting boosted. So in this area, we are going to see lots of progress in this coming time, and it's another game changer in our country that we are going to witness, that open network digital commerce. Then again, we have one national health registry where all the path labs, doctor's prescriptions, your medical history, all are stored. Yes, caveat is the data is secure. See, it will be available only with the consent. So this any DPI that we are using here, the importance is the consent-based architecture that we are following. So any medical report, one can just allow the doctor to see, and one can get the prescription. So again, it's really, really good thing. Even the health insurers companies are also getting hooked on this national health registry. Then again, account aggregator. So all the financial related activities, there's no need to submit physically or take the data from your bank. Simply you give the consent, the data will be made available through this account aggregator to the company or to the entity, whosoever wants your financial details for taking some decision, maybe giving the loan, short-term loan, long-term loan, education loan, anything. And then e-sign. When we enter into the agreement with any entity, we sign a MOU or any agreement or any legal agreement, it's ink sign. But now, e-sign is the online sign available using the Aadhaar. So one can get the document e-sign electronically. So what we are seeing in our country, using the GEM Trinity, we have moved towards cashless, paperless, and the presence-less economy. And this is just last 1 or 2 minutes. I will give this one example. There's a faster loan disbursal. So it is a public tech credit platform for lending designed by Reserve Bank of India Innovation Hub in our country. So it is connected with the Aadhaar registry, that is digital identity, language translation registry, bank data, the farmer's land data, what is the credit score, and the dairy milk selling data from the dairy and daily farmer database. So this is with respect to the farmers who are selling the milk to the dairies. So in this system, all the data, that is how much milk he or she is selling, how it is being consumed by the dairy, what is the land available with that farmer, what is the bank history. So all these things are available, and suppose that farmer wants a small loan to purchase, say, 2 cows. So immediately loan can be sanctioned based on the information available. Suppose he is every day selling around $50 rupees milk. So maybe yes, $10 he can, as a loan, he can again pay back. So this is how the information-based lending is taking place in this centralized system. And then what is there in the next 10 years, that is we call it a decade, that is these 10 years, right, from 22 to 32, driven by the technology. So using the digital public infrastructure, artificial intelligence, machine language, Internet of Things, and the 5G rollout. So combining all these technologies to increase the productivity. For example, Internet of Things, we are increasing the productivity of the agriculture, right? And we are using in the transport sector. So all these new tech we are using with the caveat challenge with respect to data privacy and security, where we require more and more expertise, where the role of the consultant can also come, that to help the entities to ensure that their architecture is in compliance with the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, which has been passed by the Parliament of India. And what we need, responsible data collection and uses in AI-driven digitization. So for that, also one has to design the processes, have SOPs in place. So here, lots of work is there in our country. For all the entities, it is very much required. So finally, I concluded that what we are going to see, innovations using the DPI out in 5G. And again, government is supporting the innovation. For example, in the 5G, 100 5G labs in the different academic institutes have been set up across the country. So all the startups or the entities can make use of it. And we are ensuring all the data quality and the validation. And the emphasis on embracing the AI-first approach for the data-driven digitization. And as I said earlier, security and privacy, these two parameters are of the very critical and the paramount importance. So for which we require the support of all the consultants, I can say all the experts in this domain, all the entities have to work, so have to ensure all the compliances. And overall objective is to make India a top 3 world economy. One can approach me at my email address, my LinkedIn, Sumnesh Joshi, and my Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joshi, for sharing an insightful presentation. Thank you very much.
This very impressive presentation, the huge numbers and the huge growth rates that were presented. Very, very impressive for me. Many thanks, Mr. Joshi, for this presentation. And it gives me, it struck me that we presented our National Consulting Index a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of June. And the outcome of the NCI proves again, it's not very new for us, but it proves again how important management consulting services are for growing and for developed economies. So all this technology presented by Mr. Joshi, all the challenges, not only for private persons, but also for many business. They need support. They need support to implement the digitalization process. They need support for management consulting. So actually, very good news for our profession.